Hi, Amy.
Hi, Adya. Closer.
There.
I wanted to talk to you about aloneness, which is what I brought up like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So in the last retreat, you kind of vanished. And I'm just still feeling a lot of grief about that. I didn't realize
that I'm not separate from you? Or that you've seen that I don't exist?
Yeah. Well, that I can't hang on to you as like the guru anymore.
Yes. Very good. And the last death knells of clutching at that.
Yeah. I really wanted a guru my whole life.
Yeah, I know.
And when I finally got one, then a year later, it's gone.
Well,
I mean, I know you're still here, but
yeah,
but I can't believe in the illusion anymore.
Very good. Right.
And I, like I said to you, I see that there's no Amy either.
Right.
But there's a part that feels really alone with all this.
You are. You are. You are alone in all this, with all this. You are. And no amount of grasping back is going to change that. Right? You don't go backwards in any of this, do you? There's no turn, there's no reverse. There is no reverse gear in any of this.
I know, I can't make you back into the guru, and I'm
No.
damn.
You can never make me into an object and actually take it serious, can you?
No.
That part of what we could call our relationship, that had a part to play, it played the part out, and it's no longer necessary. And you know it's no longer necessary because it disappears right from underneath you.
Yeah, so what happens next?
You get used to being alone. You become willing to die into being alone. Or as my teacher used to say, you learn how to stand up on your own 2 feet. Your 2 feet. Right? And part of that is the willingness to be alone. And you realize it's you. I'm speaking sort of metaphorically, but also concretely. It's you, and it's you alone. And you will sink or swim on your own. You will delude yourself, or you will not delude yourself on your own. You are very much on your own, and you are your own resource. That's the place where all this is moving, and it's moving there inevitably. And we struggle. Part of us says, "I want that, I want that, I want that," until we get it. And then we look around and we go, well, it actually meant alone, didn't it? It's like, you're damn right it meant alone. More alone than you ever imagined. More alone than we could ever even dream of. Remember the Buddha when he had his awakening? I alone. First words out of his mouth. I alone am the honored one. I alone. And it wasn't an ego thing, like me instead of you. It was I alone, I all one alone. And there's a sense of aloneness, is there not?
Yeah, there's an old voice though from the past that says I'm not ready and I'm not strong enough to do that.
Right, of course.
I need mommy, and you were like mommy.
Right.
Because, when you never had like parents to begin with, there's that feeling of still wanting that.
I understand. And you're not, and that part that says, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And
Exactly.
Of course you're not ready. It's never going to be ready, though. It never was ready. It never will be ready. Right?
Yeah, I'll probably never be ready. So I'm just being pushed off the cliff.
That's what I'm trying.
Yeah. All right. Listening.
I can get a whole lot more aggressive if it's necessary later on, but we'll try this approach.
So
I've told people they can never talk to me again. We can go that far if it's necessary.
Well, luckily you live a long ways away. So.
Yeah.
And I'm moving to very Australia, fortunate. So I'll be even farther away.
So of course there's parts of you that really don't feel like you're ready for it, really don't feel like you can. But when that aloneness, and it's authentic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you created. It's not something you said, I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet. That's just ego stuff. That's when we're trying to stand up on our own before we're actually ready. But when it starts to happen, and it's natural and spontaneous, and you can't actually stop it, even if you wanted to stop it, that's when it's real. And certainly the parts of yourself that would say, I'm not ready for it, and you realize that's the old self. Those are the old voices of the old self, and they're very sort of childlike and parental, and they sort of have that kind of sense of relationship. But it's sort of like someone who's leaving home. You realize no one's ever ready to leave home. Right? You don't know what it's going to be like when you leave home. It's never like we think it is. It's never like we think it is. We can't imagine what it'll be like. Right? It's like, or a bird in the nest. If the parent bird said, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you want to fly now?" Nothing would ever happen. So there's always a sense of not quite yet. But I'm in wholehearted agreement, is even though there's the remnant of that as a memory, not quite yet, I'm saying, absolutely, this is the time. This is moving into your own self completely, into your own aloneness. Only when you move in completely, unreservedly, without hesitation, does the sense of aloneness, it does not that it necessarily changes, but it broadens. When you can come to grips in yourself psychologically with being totally alone, completely, forever, when you come to grips with that, and you're willing to become that space, only then does it open up even more. And it's, yes, you are alone in the sense that you're standing on your own 2 feet, but also there becomes even a greater sense, a much more intimate sense of all one. And that amazing paradox that you're all alone, but you're all alone within yourself. So you could never actually be lonely. You can never actually be cut off in any way or separate.
So you're all alone in yourself.
Yes.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It feels like one of those swan dives.
It is. And for different people it feels differently. But when your consciousness it's leaving an old way of being. And it's not only you're leaving your old way of being, you feel yourself leaving the how can we say, the common state of human consciousness. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. I can see it does. Yeah. And you see, it's almost like you're leaving humanity behind, right? And you're never coming back, ever, 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 never. You'll never make it back. You'll never see things like you did before. And it has a sense of aloneness to that, doesn't it? Because you're seeing things like 99% of humanity does not. And that doesn't make you any better or any noble. It's just a fact, right? If anything, it brings us back down. Because we realize we are everybody else. But there is this great sense of leaving, in the sense that you can never make it back to that old state of consciousness. And there's a certain nostalgia about it.
And grief.
And grief, right. So go ahead and grieve it. Go ahead and be nostalgic about it. And then get on with it. Because it's unavoidable and irreversible. And only when as you let this happen, then it's like the paradox really shows up. That when you let yourself leave, actually you find yourself entering in a way you never could enter into humanity, into life, into personhood even. that you actually find the capacity to really enter in a way you never had the capacity to. You had to leave before you could be here. You had to die before you could actually live. You had to be completely alone before you could have the deepest experience of all one. Everyone would like to bypass, right? That sense of being so far out there that nobody can get to you or touch you. So my part is to simply tell you, that's the way it is. It feels a little strange, but you get used to things feeling a little strange after a while.
Great. I just needed to know it wasn't like a neurotic personality type aloneness, and that's helpful.
Yeah. Well, just the holding on is. It only becomes neurotic if we start to hold up in it. And we start to hide in aloneness and use aloneness till we start to feel like an island, right? And isolated. Then that's neurotic aloneness. And it may have a feeling of that as you're going really deeply into the deepest existential aloneness. But if you just keep letting it go, you don't feel isolated, walled off, cut away. That's a narcissistic aloneness. That's an egoic aloneness, right? That's a separating aloneness. But when you go through that, it comes out into all one. But also a certain independence. Not the ego independence, but an independence, you see. It's because only when we become independent, not false independence, in America, we worship false independence, right? Me and my alone, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm an independent Marlboro man, and all that sort of nonsense. But an independence like the Buddha was independent, right? Someone who could stand up in their own 2 feet and be and manifest to the world what they are, to give their gift, whatever that is, to actually bloom, right? To really bloom. And to really bloom, we have to be willing to stand alone, because there's going to be nothing in the universe that's going to bloom exactly like you will bloom. There has never been anything before, there will never be anything after. It's only right here and right now. Do you see what I mean? And that's an aloneness, that there will only bloom this way. Yeah. But to die into that's the only way that you can actually fully experience and then give the gift of your own incarnation.
Yeah.
We can't give our gift if we're always looking around us going, do you like it? Is it a good gift? Do you agree with it? Right? You notice Jesus wasn't asking that, was he? Got him nailed to the cross. I think we have a little advantage over him nowadays. We generally don't get nailed to crosses for standing up. Not everyone will agree with us, but I think the price that we may pay for it is much lower than it was a few centuries ago.
Thanks for throwing fertilizer on the bloom.
You're welcome.